Hi, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful presentation that has been put together just for you, where we're going to do a little bit of decoding. Now, I can't quite tell you the title yet because it's part of our do now, so just stick with me and I'll make sure that you understand this thing all the way through. My name is Miss Jessie, and I'm here with a million minds and here to help talk and guide you through one of the trainings I feel helps our foundational understanding of what we do in the classroom and why we do it. Now, I am going to give you a quick preference or preface or just a heads up that this presentation that was created was actually done face to face. And if you've ever attended any of my presentations or workshops, we do a lot of in classroom instruction and modeling. So there's a lot of activities in here that's really hard or maybe won't come across distance learning wise because you actually have to do a thing pair share or you're doing different activities or you're also in this case watching a model video. What I've done is if you look at the Google link below, I've actually provided the PD handout that was given during this training so you can follow along. So please pause and participate or speed up and go to the exact areas you want to go to. And then as well as anything that I reference, hence the video we did for modeling, that link is down in the description box as well. Before we do anything else, if you want to subscribe, there are so many more presentations coming because as long as I am learning information and sharing information with my teachers, I'm going to be giving you information and understanding so you can go ahead and follow along. With no further notice or whatever, we're going to start with our decoding workshop. And as I said, we have some things that we want to talk about and do. So make sure you have at least a pencil and the ability to do some internet research or Google because that is one of the activities that we're going to be doing today. Now, as I said before, it is called decoding. And then there's this like really crazy word here. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do is for our do now, you're going to decode the word. Yes, you are decoding the topic that we are having to do today. And that means that there is a document in front of you, and at this time, it's just in your handout. And I'm going to go back to the screen. And can you decode the word in front of you? Now, here is the thing for those people who are face to face the entire activity is worth 8 points. Boop, 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 boop. But if you wanted to get a hint, had three available, but if you received a hint, you lost a point. So it was a really good time to kind of see exactly like who wanted to try to knock this thing out, no hints, and who was able to get it, but they wanted to have some hints. So at this point in time, I'm going to back to the screen and go ahead and pause and try to knock it out. I am going to give you the three hints here. So if you've already paused and you said, you know what, I'm taking first hint. First hint, and I'll give you a hint that's a freebie. This is not about COVID at all. Okay? Not about COVID. This is about what we do in the classroom. So your very first hint is I hope you're going to have a good time doing this. I really do. I'm so proud of everybody who wake up every day. Good job for being here. I would like to have something good to say to everybody right now. So hint number one is a good hint. I hope you catch the hint. Good job to you. Good things happen. Please listen to the good things going on. So if you haven't caught it, hint number one is good. Pause. If you want hint number two is that there's four words, but one word is actually an abbreviation. And it's only two letters in that one word that is an abbreviation. So instead of using the whole word versus the abbreviation, we chose to use the abbreviation versus using the whole word. Hint number 3. Hint number 3 really talks about what we do in the classroom. I instruct you to really listen to the things that we do in the classroom because the instruction part is very important. And if you don't follow instructions, you might get lost. So know that every time we do anything, it's the instructions that are valuable. So if you haven't caught it yet, we have decoded the word, and we actually decoded the term good versus, that's the abbreviation, effective instruction. And that's actually the purpose and the essential question and objective of this course. It is, what is the difference between good, that's one of your words, versus effective instruction? So if you're following along in the PD handouts, right there, there's something that says, what is the code? Go ahead and write that down because the code is unlocking the entire purpose of what we're coming in today. And by the end of this class, you should be able to clearly define and give a few examples of what makes an instructional method effective. Okay. So join us. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit today, and we're really going to break this piece down. But in order for us to really start understanding what we're talking about when we talk about good versus effective instruction, I wanted you to go ahead and do a little bit of scavenger hunt here. And so in our scavenger hunt, I am introducing vibrant, vibrant vocabulary. Yes, because we love opportunities to really research and understand our vocabulary. So right now, we're going to find 3 words. 3 words. And your 3 words are good, effective, instruction. In order for us to talk about this and really make this part of our objective and learning for today, we need to know exactly what we're talking about. So pull out your device, hit pause, and Google search. And I want you to tell me in your notes, what does good mean? What does effective mean? And what does instruction mean? Now, here's the thing. Don't type all of it together. I want to know the definition for each word as it relates to what you do in the classroom. Because some of these words have more than one definition. So you have to make sure that you find the correct definition in order to understand what we're trying to do when we talk about lesson planning, we talk about instruction in the classroom. At this time, I want you to hit pause and go ahead and Google search these 3 words. Once again, good, effective, instruction. Pause. Okay, now you're coming back and you've looked and you kind of decipher, and I want to know, do your 3 definitions line up with the 3 definitions that we discovered? So let's talk about these definitions very briefly. Okay, when you talk about something that's good, good means it has the required qualities. It's of a high standard. So it's something we definitely want, and it has all the qualities that are required to make it be at that top scale. So that's what happens when we have something that's good. Think about it. You did a good job. These are the qualities that classify the job to be good. You had a good day. What kind of qualities happen to make you classify a high standard or a good day? So we look at that for good. I want us to skip over and look at effective. Effective means something that is successful in producing a desired or intended result. So we look there and we see the word producing. And producing is an action, right? And it produces the intended result. End. Result means end. So if something's effective, it's the action of giving the desired outcome or ending. Now, instruction's a little different, and you see here, we actually have the root word instruct highlighted. Because if you looked at instruction, it might have said something like the art of instructing or the art of teaching. And when we dig for vocabulary, remember we're trying to figure out the actual core meaning. So for those who dug a little deeper, good job and bonus work, because we want to look at the root word. If you don't understand what I mean by root word, well, instruction can be instructed, instructing, reconstructed. So your entire root word is the word instruct. Okay? And to instruct is to furnish with knowledge. And isn't that what we do as teachers? Beyond everything else we have. Like, yes, we are preparing for COVID. Yes, we have turned around and made sure our safety valves are hit. Yes, we have our planning materials done. Yes, we hit our resources. Yes, we have our professional development hours. But at the end of the day, when you stand in front of students, isn't our goal to simply give them additional knowledge? Not work, knowledge. And by the time they leave us smarter than the moment they came in. So to instruct is our basic goals as a teacher. And usually the way we instruct right here is using a systematic method. And that's why we go through training. That's why you're with me today, because we are learning the different methodologies in order to ensure that our kids are able to gain the right type of knowledge in the right amount of time with the right desired, intended results, right? So we're looking today at effective instruction. Does anything else stand out to you? Not, we're going to keep moving forward. And right now, go back to your PD thing. We have a language building strategy. Since our key focus today is effective, use your graphic organizer to write your own definition of the word effective and fill out the boxes to help build your understanding. And this is a vocabulary strategy. It's basically taken from Marzano, but we've modified it just a bit for time. I want you to write your definition of effective so we can remember what we mean here. Put the word effective in a sentence. And if you have bonus time, try to draw me in a picture. Can you draw me a picture of effective? So if you pause to do that to come back, let's talk now, and we're going to break down the word effective just a little bit more. Now, one of the key things that really stood out in that definition for me was produce. Remember, we talked about the action of producing and getting that desired result. So when we look at the word produce, I kind of think a lot about the word production, right? Because to produce, it's an actual bit of things. It's a lot of things. Does anybody else think of like production? So what is the art of production? Well, sometimes when you don't know, guess who has the answer? Google, right? So we Googled production, and one of the key things that came out was the production cycle. So you see that here, and you also see it here, and you see it here, and you see it here, and you see it here. And I want to ask you, what themes do you see? Now, the theme that you see is, of course, the cycle, the circle. Yes. And what do we know about the circle? Well, it can keep going, it keep going, and we keep going. And sometimes we do have an ending for the production cycle, but there's always a process it must go through. So while we talk about the desired result, which is what we want because something's effective, you really can't have a desired result without having a desire, or what I would say, the beginning. The desire is the beginning, the result is the end in order to have a production. That's how you go through the entire cycle. So let me break it down in a more systematic way. You must have a vision to get to the end product. Okay? Let's go ahead and break that down again. A bad example, but I'm going to give you a real life example. I actually have run maybe like 10 to 12 half marathons. And if you don't know what that is 13.1 miles. And for about 3 years, I really did love running. I can't say love because it's something I love like after you finish, because it's hard. It's very hard. But I ran half marathons. In order to start, I had a vision or a spark of me going through a finish line. I wanted to know what that feeling of accomplishment really felt like. So there was this vision. What did I see happening? I saw finishing a half marathon and getting a medal. I never run without getting a medal. I refused to run without getting a medal. But what was the need? Is there a concern or problem? Yes, I wanted to be more healthy. I wanted to try to drop additional weight. And I really wanted to try to have discipline to get through something that many seem is hard. And I have a little bit of an ego. I wanted to say that I was able to do something that a lot of people hadn't done. So that was my vision. And because of my vision, I was able to see the end product, right? I could see me finishing. I could see the medal. And when I registered, there was a medal there. So I could see what the end could be, right? But there was still 3 months between my vision and my product. So you have to understand first that between vision and product is time. It's never a vision, like it's not microwave. You can't just put your food in the microwave and your product comes out immediately. There's always time between your vision and your product. And what drives your going there is your purpose. Your purpose is why we do what we do. It drives the goal. It gives the heartbeat. It gives the momentum. See, while I had the vision for the half marathon, it wasn't, and I had the end goal. I had to have a reason for doing it. I did. Yes, I wanted to lose weight. Yes, I wanted to be a stronger individual. But yes, I knew I was going to see an ex boyfriend towards the end of the product. And I wanted to be hot to death. I wanted him to remember me. So I had a purpose. And everybody's purpose is different, but it drives the last part, the plan. Because while I can have a vision and while I can have a product that I need to get to, and I can have a purpose, it means nothing if I don't have a plan. This is 13 miles. You don't plan the same if you're running 5 miles versus 13. And if anybody's done an endurance run, you have to plan, you have to have certain chat things, you have to have certain energy motivators along the way. You have to know about your bathroom stops. You have to know what your body can take. You have to know your pace speed. You have to know beforehand if they're heels or not heels. You have to have the right type of running gear and the shoes. You have to feel your body before. You have to kind of go through training things. So you must set up a plan. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail, right? So this is really the breakdown of how the production cycle kind of works. So now that we've talked about this in the case of me and my marathon, what does this mean in the classroom when it comes to us planning and us thinking through what we do as teachers? What can you see being the vision? What can you see being the product, the end result? What can you see being the purpose? And what can you see being the plan? Now, if you're in your notes, please jot down your vision, plan, purpose, and product right there where it saves it, because this is something that's going to go into our theme. And if you join me for the PDs after this, because this is a three-part PD series, kind of breaking down lesson planning and what we're doing now, and effective teaching. So, how we plan for effective instruction. I can tell you now. But jot these four things down because this is going to drive our learning. Okay, so while we talk about that, how do we know now that if we planned something, it was effective? How do we know it was effective? And I know you don't have partners at home, so I'll give you the answer. We know something's effective by the student product. So let's think about that in the classroom and what that means. How do we know something was effective? How do we know that what we taught that day was effective? By what the student produces. Now, has anybody ever done this before? It could just be me. That you go up to the board and you're writing on the board, you're talking, you're discussing, you're telling, you're giving examples, you're underlining, you're circling, and you've done everything you can. And then you give the kids a question or a quick quiz and they bomb it. Was what you were doing effective? No, because it doesn't matter how much energy you put in as a teacher. It matters how much energy they're able to produce on their own. You can turn around and do all the talking, but if students can't do it on their own, we have to go back, and that's when we go back and have to reteach, retell, redo, reread, reread, reread. Okay, so we have to make sure that we're planning with the student product in mind. And here's the thing about product. At what point in time here do you know this cake was effectively made to be delicious? Look at this. It's a beautiful presentation. Do we know that the baker effectively made a cake? It looks good. What about when we cut the cake and it's presented to us? Do we know it was effectively made? Oh, we're ready for it. Looks divine. In fact, we can even put it on our fork. Do we know it's effectively made? It is not until we have digested the cake that we know it's effective, that the baker did an excellent job. So, what does this mean about our lessons? It's not when our students are copying the correct notes. It's not even when they might just have all the work right. It's not until they are able to apply it and digest it and tell you exactly what it means or how to do it or anything else until we know that something's effective. So if you're doing classroom observations, a lot of times we talk about what we see or we talk about what we do. You have to remember, in order to judge effectiveness, it is about what the student is able to describe. It's about what the student is able to do. It's all about the student work and production. So it's not copying, it's the application. And it's the application and kind of like I'll say the regurgitation, which is not the best word, but it's what the student is able to produce. And it's what the teacher is able to sit back and enjoy, because they know that the information imparted to furnish with knowledge has been given, and the end result is now the student able to give that knowledge back. So, effective classrooms are driven by a vision. What is the purpose of today's class, which is a very important part. Effective classrooms are evaluated by student product or outcome. What did I accomplish today? And who was I? The student. Effective classrooms are driven by effective instructional practices. What are the tools that will drive us to our product? One, two, three. I'm going to pause. I want you to look at this one. Read it out loud to yourself. What is the purpose of today's class? What did I accomplish today? And then what are the tools that will drive us to our product? So this very next piece is a video, and we're just going to watch a model classroom. We're not going to do it in this presentation. The link is actually below. And we want to thank the Carrie Morgan YouTube channel. When we watch the video, we're just going to observe. And there was a rubric that went out with this, but in this case, we're just observing. We're just partaking in a class, and we're going to determine the instructional strategies we see in the video. And now you can have an idea of, were they effective or were they good? And this is not a time for us to critique and criticize. This is a time for us to learn. And some of us might be different with our opinions, so we have to understand this piece. When we're talking about classrooms, we're talking about what's been evidenced for us to see. I saw this happening because students participated in this way. Students shared information in this way. I saw this evidence because the teacher did this. I witnessed this. So go ahead and take some time to watch the videos, about 13 minutes. You can watch 5 to 8, whatever you choose. But that is the model classroom that we come together. Now, remember when I said there was a lot of portions in here that were face-to-face. During this video, we actually encourage partner talk and group talk, and they have question stems to help guide that. And so you kind of see that rubric below, and we help guide with those strategies. For you just following along, just watch the video. Come back with your own assessment and self-reflection. I'm pausing now so you can watch the video. Welcome back. So you go back as a team and work as a team and review the scores you gave. Talk it as a team. Do you agree or disagree? And like I said before, here's your question stems. This rating was evidenced by. I witnessed this. Students responded by. Use these stems to help drive your conversation. Now, let's go and make this about ourselves. You have some seat work. In your PD guide, there's just a random list of instructional strategies. Some are popular, some are not popular. So you're going to look at the list and you're going to reflect for a moment, and you're going to simply put a check next to the strategies that you believe you're effective on. This is all about you. You're going to also put a plus sign on the strategies that you think you might be good at, but you might need a little extra work. And also circle the strategies you know you need to grow on. If you don't know the strategy, put a question mark, because those are things that we can look at, grow, and develop later. So you get that time to do that. Remember, for a practice to be identified as effective, you have to have a student product that supports the effective practice. You must have evidence that it is effective. It's not just about what you think and feel. It's about what you know, because you've seen over 50% of your class be able to do that. And I said 50% because 51 is majority. And we don't always work with 100%. We're just doing analysis. So we're saying, can 50% or more of your class produce this? Go ahead. And this activity actually took about 5 to 7 minutes. So you have that free time. Think it through, talk, discuss. So the next piece after you do that, and you're not part of this, is that I had a co-presenter. So thank you to my co-presenter who did this. But there was an independent seat work where they actually turned in a piece of paper to me that identified their two strongest effective practices, the two that they really felt they were good on, and the two that they would like to grow and know more about. And then the next step was making sure their PD folder, which is your outline, is completed. And then they discussed with another partner about what they've learned. And then there was a survey link. And so those pieces were the next steps in ordering to ensure that we are ready to go to the next process. And then that is the end. So we wanted to walk away today with the understanding of what is effective practices and effective instructional practices look like. And can you give examples of how to do that? And the reason why is this is a part one of a part three series. And what we want to do is give you the foundation for understanding planning in the classroom and why and how we can effectively plan for effective instruction. Bam! Now we've worked into the title and the objective of this series, right? Effective planning for effective instruction. Yes, and that is our goal. So I thank you so much for joining me for this presentation. I thank you for being encouraged to learn more and do more. And until part two, relax, do what you need to do, enjoy. If you have any questions, you can definitely comment below. I will give you my email and we can discuss and talk. And we can do all we need to do. Thank you for joining me with A Million Minds. I truly appreciate every moment we spend together. I love giving you the tools and knowledge to empower yourself of what you do in the classroom. Thank you. Thank you so much. And until next time, it's been Miss Jessie.